Missing or incorrect article usage is one of the most common mistakes in English writing and speech. Although articles aren't necessarily difficult to use, you have to understand the basic reasons why we use certain articles, when we use an article, and when not to use an article. First of all, articles come in two different types. Indefinite articles are used with non-specific singular countable nouns. The other kind is definite articles. So first again, indefinite articles come before nouns or before adjective-noun combinations. We use a or a before words that start with consonant sounds, including y. Remember that it's not necessarily a consonant at the beginning of the word that lets you know that you use a, but rather the sound that the word makes. So in most cases, consonants obviously would require an a, but also need to remember that the y makes what's considered a consonant sound for article usage. For example, a glass of water, a day, a good opera. Right? So we have the G, D, and G again. Okay. We use and before words that start with vowel sounds, including the silent H, not including the Y again, and not including some U words like unicorn or unix. Example, an hour, an egg, an honest man. We don't use a or an with plural non-countable nouns. So we don't use a or an with things like water or ice. You don't say a water. No, you might go to the store or the restaurant and ask for a water, but in fact you're asking really for a bottle of water or a glass of water, and the vessel is implied. So since water isn't countable, you don't ask for a water. Similarly, you wouldn't ask for a ice. You would ask for an ice cube. The other kind is the definite article. Definite article is the, the, and it's used with specific singular or plural countable or non-countable nouns. So you could say the water here. Use the with things that are well known, famous things, or things that have been mentioned before. So the first time you mention something, you're going to use a or an. Second time or thereafter, you use the. You also use the with official institutions like the government, the airport, the police station. That's generally. You could say a government if you're specifying one, if you're locating one out of many. You could say an airport if there are many and you're not trying to be too specific. For example, the sun. There is only one sun here on Earth. Of course, there are other suns out in the galaxy, the solar system, in the universe, I should say. But since our frame of reference is less constrained, or sorry, more constrained, then we would say the sun. It's pretty obvious. The airport. We also use the with superlatives. So the biggest, the best, the worst, the most expensive, these types of things. We don't use articles when we're generalizing ideas. So for example, the museums are important for the society. This is wrong. We should say museums are important for society. We're generalizing museums and we're generalizing society. Right? This is my favorite thing in the life. Never say the life. Almost never, unless we're talking about poetry or something like that. So this is my favorite thing in life. Life is difficult. Life is extraordinary. These types of things. Okay, we're using a or an the first time something is mentioned in a paragraph, unless the thing is specific or well known already, and then after that we use the. One day an ant was walking down by the river. So this is the first time we talk about this ant. An ant is walking down by the river. I'd say the river because it's specific enough. There's generally only one river in a place. Certainly in an ant's world, there's only one river. And so you would say the river. The ant, second time we mention it, saw a crow. Well, so which crow? There are many crows at first. Now we specify this crow. The next time we use it, we can say the crow. The crow was sitting in a tree. There's only one river, but there are many trees by the river, so the first time we're going to specify which of the many trees with the indefinite article a, and then finally, the ant walked over to the tree the crow was sitting in. Or I could say that the crow was sitting in. So the third time we've seen the ant, the second time we've seen the crow, third time we've seen the crow, and the second time we've seen the tree. You can use the for each of these. Let's go on to some examples here. John bought Should be a new car. Last week, right? First time we've heard of the new car. Unfortunately, now second time, unfortunately, the car broke down after just 2 days. We went to a movie. Which movie? Even though it got good reviews, don't need an article there. Don't need an article because we have plural, right? We're not going to say a good reviews. We're not going to say the good reviews because we're generalizing many good reviews. Even though it got good reviews, the movie, second time we've talked about it, was absolutely terrible. I was so mad I went to the box office. There's only one box office at any movie theater, so it is the only one. I went to the box office and asked for my money back. Our teacher gave us a test today. Of course, we all know what test it is, but he gave us one test. It is a test. It's the first time we talked about it. It was a really hard test. So not only was it a test, but this is the first time we're talking about it being really hard, so it was a really hard test. There are many potential tests, there are many potential really hard tests, and we're specifying which one. There were, no article, questions on there which I didn't even understand. There were some, there were many, but not there were a, and there were not there were the, so no article in. Excuse me, is there a post office around here? There are many post offices, so we'll specify which one. I need to buy a stamp. There are many stamps. This is the first time we're talking about that stamp. We have a beautiful lake behind our house. Not we have the beautiful lake because if we're talking to somebody, there are many lakes in the world. We're specifying which one. We have a beautiful lake behind our house. There's not one only that's beautiful. Every winter, the lake, second time we mention it, freezes over and we can go ice skating. When I was a kid, there are many kids, first time we've mentioned it, I used to spend just hours plural, skating back and forth across the ice. Right? We've already sort of mentioned ice skating. The ice is really what? The ice is the lake, right? And there's only one sheet of ice on the whole lake. We've already mentioned the lake, and we don't use indefinite articles or singular with ice. So the only article possible for ice is the. Carry works for an amazing organization. There are many amazing organizations. It starts with a vowel, you need an. What is that amazing organization? The organization provides uncountable food and plural supplies for children in the developing world. The developing world is well known. This is a term we use for poorer countries. Even though there are many countries, it is the developing world. Is there a water? No, no article. Is there any water? Okay. But is there the water? No. Is there water on the moon? The sun, the moon, the sea, things like that are fine. The Arabian Peninsula, the Philippines archipelago, the whatever, the isthmus in Thailand, the peninsula in Italy, etc. Yes, scientists have discovered, no article, ice there. When I turned on my new laptop, the screen, there's only one screen, exploded. Luckily it has a good warranty. Either they will replace the broken screen or send me a brand new laptop. I know a great new restaurant, one of many great new restaurants in Mumbai on 8th Avenue. It's an Indian restaurant. Again, even though it's the same restaurant, it's an Indian restaurant because it's the first time we've specified anything about that. With just incredible food. Food is uncountable. Oh yeah, I know that restaurant. The chef, there's only one chef, is a good friend of mine. I might have many good friends. This is the first time we've specified any of them. Wow, I can't believe how much a gallon of gas costs these days. If the price keeps going up, I'm going to buy an electric car. All right, so again, rules. Use the with specific singular or plural non-countable, countable or non-countable nouns, are and the indefinite article a or an with non-specific singular countable nouns. An goes before vowel sounds, not just vowels, but vowel sounds. A goes before consonant sounds, not just consonants, but consonant sounds. The first time we use the article, we use a or an. The second time, unless it's well known or superlative, we use the. If it's well known as superlative, we can use the for the first time. And basically every singular countable noun needs an article. So start adding those articles into your writing and your speech.